Okay, so I want to welcome each and every one of us to the final lecture for our training. We have about 4 things to do today, and we need to be fast about it so that we can finish on time. So we're going to be reviewing assignment number 2. I'm going to do an overview of what we have learned, and I will take time to go through the gray areas where I've seen participants are having 1 or 2 issues, and after that there will be room for question and answer. Then I'm going to do an overview of what you need to know, the material you need to get, what you need to cover, the course content. If you are interested in passing PMP exam, and then we are going to do our post tests. So those are the 4 things we want to do today. We have so much on our hand, so we need to start immediately. So once again, I welcome us, and I want to also congratulate us for the time that we have spent for this lecture. I know a lot of us are very busy, so for creating time out to listen to the lecture, to access the video, to do the assignment, I congratulate us. It's important that all the things that we have learned, we need to practice. Practice, they say, makes perfect. All right, so can we see the screen for the assignment 2 review? If you can do that, just say hi on the chat menu. If you can see the screen for assignment 2 review. All right, thank you. So assignment 2, based on the tactfulness in your presentation last week about the proposed 3-bedroom flat bungalow, the MD has given approval for the program of work to be assigned cost element and resources. He also decided that the company will handle the substructure, client to buy material and pay laborers daily, while the superstructure will be contracted out to align with the corporate global strategy, and also to ensure nothing goes wrong at the foundation stage. Required: prepare a program of work for 4 months from clearing to foundation, carcass and finishing, adhering to the 2 main tasks, substructure and superstructure. You can use the example from the last assignment if done properly, or the example from the week 2 lecture. For the substructure, while entering the details in the resource sheet, work and material resource will be allocated to each subtask, except subtask is only labor based. Kindly note the labor rate for the personnel will be per day for the substructure. The global budget for the project is put at 13 million Naira. You can adjust the example from the week 2 lecture as you wish. Details: BOQ breakdown of a typical project has been attached. For the superstructure, ensure all activities are properly indented. You can decide to hand the cost element to the subtasks or individual subtasks, or based on the level of your program. All material and labor are to be paid by the subcontractor. Project start date still remains. Prepare the following report with 100% completion for substructure and 25% completion for superstructure. You are supposed to submit reports for project overview, cost overview, upcoming tasks, and cash flow. Kindly add your name and discipline as heading for each of the reports. Assignment to be submitted in both PDF and MPP. You have to also submit in PDF format tax and Gantt view showing duration, start date, finish date, percentage complete, cost, baseline, cost, and actual cost. All right. Now, this is the instruction for assignment number 2. So many things there deliberately put there to confuse, as it were. But of course, it's just a lot of instructions to be followed. The assignment was coined to be sure that we understand all the things, and we go through, we practice all the things that have been taught. All right. Now, the first thing I can see that really confused a lot of participants is this issue of cost element and resources. And if you look at this, let me see, for the substructure, while entering the details on the resource sheet, work and material resource will be allocated to each subtask. What does this mean? It means that for all the activities under substructure, which is the foundation, which the company will be handling directly, it's not like a contract job. It's like a direct labor job, as it were. The client buys the material, all right, and they pay for the work. So things like the personnel and the equipment is supposed to be under work, and the material required is supposed to be under material resource. But for the superstructure, if you understand what I mean here, it said that it will be contracted out. So if you check the assignment, the lecture 2, I did say that when you are contracting a job out, it is a lump sum, as it were, which you can extract from your BOQ. If the duration changes, that contract work, you will not pay more. But if you are paying a daily laborer and they spend more day and you're paying them per day, you will need to spend more. So that is just what this instruction is talking about. All right, and the global budget is 13 million. I've seen assignments when you have 13 million to spend on a project. Some people, I can see only 4 million naira, 3 million naira, 10 million naira when it's 13 million naira. Then you are supposed to submit 4 reports from where, if you have entered your resource very well, you are supposed to submit 4 reports: project overview, cost overview, upcoming tax, cash flow. And the percentage completion for substructure was meant to be completed 100%, and for superstructure it was meant to be 25%. And the other instructions, then you are also supposed to submit 2 other PDF for tax and grant view, showing duration, start and finish date, percentage complete, cost, baseline, cost, actual cost. Some people did not follow these instructions, and I've always emphasized that your report and all your PDF has to be visible when you print it. If the activities on your sheet are not much, you can do in A4. If they are much, you need to increase it to H3 so that your letters and your bars on the timeline side can be visible. So for those who have done the assignments and they have been assessed, based on this marking scheme, which is if you are able to allocate the material and the work resource the way it's supposed to be done, you get your 10 full marks. If you concur to substructural and superstructure as main tasks for the purpose of this assignment only, you get 10 marks. I have always emphasized that this is not a rule, but it's just for the purpose of this assignment. You can have about 3, 4, 5 main tasks depending on the complexity and the type of project that you do. You can have some tasks, for set of activities for even pre-construction, documentation, giving of LPO, advance payment, and all those stuffs. You can have the construction stage, you can even have commission stage, depending on the project. It's just for the purpose of this exam that participants have been asked to just follow these two main tasks. Then budget compliance, 13 million naira. If you are able to do that, you get your 10 marks. Your start date compliance, 10 marks. Your duration, 4 months. I've emphasized that during the first meeting. 10 marks. Percentage complete, 100% for substructure, 25% for superstructure. You get additional 10 marks. Then if you are able to submit all your 4 reports, you also get 10 marks. Then how presentable and how visible is your PDFs that you have submitted, 10 marks. Then if you also submitted the Gantt chart view with all those columns and the resource sheet, you get 10 marks. And bonus for lateness. For assignment 2, I did not deduct negative marking for late comma for those that did not submit. But I did not really see anybody that got this my bonus. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to share with us the assignment of a particular participant. Okay, so this is the assignment of a particular participant which I have selected to just let us know. So now looking at this, you can see the assignment obeyed the instruction, followed the instruction of substructure and superstructure. All right. He also followed the instruction of tools and labor. I can see laborer here, I can see the tools. So you can see this laborer is work element. Actually, this tools is also work element. For site clearing, you might not need any material. That's correct. For setting out, you might not really need any material. You only need personnel and tool. But for excavation, you need labor. Right? You need tools, and these are all work elements. Leveling and compacting, you might not really need. But for instance, blinding now, you need material. So you can select as many resources as you want. All the resources you enter in your resource sheet are always available here. Just take note of that. The Excel sheet that I added to our assignment has all these costs. I've made it simple. I've simplified it. You have all these costs there. That is just for the purpose of this assignment. If you want to really do this in real life, these costs are meant to be gotten and analyzed and extracted from your bill of quantities. Like I always tell people, depending on the complexity of your project, you might not need to go into this detail for cost allocation. But if you intend to do that, it is important that you get it right when you are entering this cost. If you get it right when you are entering this cost, if you get the input right, it will help you to be able to, if you are paying laborers, if you have not agreed on a contract work, and you see start clearing and paying these guys per day, you have planned for 2 days and the thing goes to 4 days, it's automatically telling you that your actual cost is going up and it's going to be more than the baseline cost that you plan to spend there. So that is the essence of cost management in Microsoft project. It gives you an overview of what is happening here. This is what I have planned to do. Most people, they just do a program of work in Microsoft project and that's all. They just paste it somewhere, they check it. But what is happening at the other side? The cost side. When you minimize costs, that's when you maximize your profits. So you need to be on top of what is happening at the cost side. If you have not given this out as a contract and you plan to spend a day and your engineer keeps coming to site, you are paying your engineers in foreign environments, they don't pay per month, they pay per day, they pay per hour. This makes more sense. When we begin to pay per hour and begin to pay per day, you will see that your engineer is just coming to site every day. Cost is going and you are not achieving anything. So that is the importance of this. The second aspect is the substructure, which is meant to be given out as contract. Irrespective of the number of days, the cost is meant to be the same. All right. So we can see that this, let's look at the Gantt, the resource sheets. The resource sheets have been populated and it has been designated. You can see material. I told you that we have three types of resource. We have work resource, we have cost resource, we have material resource. Work resource is people and equipment. All right. And we have material resource, which are the consumables, your concrete, your plywood, your reinforcement, as the case may be. And you also have costs, which is also a type of resource. These are costs that are not indirect, that are not directly related to that activity, but will be incurred in the cost of the project. All right. So, this participant did justice to the assignment to some extent. You can see 13 million naira. If you look at the Excel sheet that I attached, these costs have been broken down. But in real life, you will need to extract this cost from your bill of quantities, and the percentage completion for substructure is 100%. And is 25%. Now, if you want to do this, if you want to make substructure under 25%, you might not need to be entering 25% here. Mere entering 25% under superstructure will populate this and help you to calculate it as the case may be. So going to reports now, if you want to just a minute, you want to do your reports, you come to reports, you come to your dashboard, you can see all the reports there. If there's any particular report that you can see, you come to more reports. Under cost, you can get your cash flow, you select and your cash flow comes out. All right. So under your project overview tells you your percentage completion. It tells you milestones that are due. It tells you percentage completion, then tasks that are late. Why do we not have anything here? We do not have anything here because this activity has not started. This project, as it were, has not started. Is meant to start on the 2nd of December. So this is also a way that you can present reports during progress site meetings. You can extract the information that is relevant, and for you can present in a way that you want. Upcoming tasks. All right. So tasks that are starting soon are also supposed to be here. All right. This is also not there because we have not actually started the project. All right. So work overview will tell you about this has not started. That's why it has not started, as it were. That is why you have 0 here. When the date keeps this works with the actual date that you have planned to do this. All right. So So this is assignment number 2 review. This is assignment number 2 review. It is important that for your project, when you are scheduling, you should try as much as possible not to leave any activity out that you require in your project. You should, if you do not know the activities that are required to perform a task, to do a project, you can organize meetings, brainstorming sessions with they call them experts, subject experts. All right, those who have advanced, those who have done that kind of experience before, that kind of project before. You can get information from them, from your project team, the guys, the contractors that you are working with, so that you ensure that you do not leave anything out. If you leave anything out, it will delay and can derail your project and can prevent you from achieving the set target in terms of duration. So that is assignment number 2 review. So the next thing we want to do now is I am going to go through some of the things that participants have issues with. When we are done with that, it will now be time for questions and answers. All right, so let's just go to a new page. Okay, so one of the things that I've seen that participants do not understand what to do is, the first thing is how to indent and how to outdent. All right, so the first thing is how to do hierarchy, how to make sure you are not going to get different just a minute, superstructure. Okay, so I just want to populate this very fast just to show how we indent, how we get it right. All right. Okay, so just like that. Okay, now we have these activities here. So I'm changing all of them to auto schedule, which helps you to do some analysis and make suggestions intelligently for you. If you schedule manually, the software will just be looking at you without giving you some suggestions. So the first thing we want to learn is how to indent. All right, you can see that this is starting on a particular day. Let's assume that clearing we have 2 days, setting out we have a day. It is always good that when this software gives you suggests 1 day to you, even if the activity will be 1 day, make sure you change this arrow. Even if it's 1 day, you have to change it. So I'm just putting some dates. Don't mind this. Let's just say 10 days. You can see I don't need to touch this. Let me just go to the activities that are here. Let's say I'm going to use 3 days. Intend to roof another 4 days. Roofing, I'm going to use 5 days. MEP, I need 2 weeks. Plastering, another 2 weeks. Okay, now, so at this stage, we do not have total duration and stuffs like that. All right? So, what I want to do is, the first thing is, I want to make this activity subtask where we have a task here. I do this to the right. It automatically calculates the total duration and gives me this date. Then I come down, I do same, I do to the right. Okay, now let's assume this project is a bungalow, all right, which is the project. So to make this the main project, I will do what? Do to the right. Now, this is where some people make mistake. If you look at this bungalow and superstructure are on the same level, that is not what we want, because if I collapse this...
Hello sir, you are too fast, sir. Can you come back just a bit so that we can just be on the same page, sir?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right. So the idea is to understand how this hierarchy works. This hierarchy will give information to the software how to calculate the weight of these days. If you look at this arrow, bungalow, and this arrow for superstructure, they are on the same level, which is not supposed to be. Superstructure and substructure are supposed to be on the same level. You can see I've collapsed it, they are on the same level. It's not like that. So what do I need to do? I'm supposed to send this superstructure to the next level where substructure is. When you click this arrow, it brings everything back. So what am I supposed to do here? I will click superstructure, then I will come to this arrow which they call indent. Is what I use to create my hierarchy. I click it. If I collapse substructure and superstructure, they are on the same level. Alright? So it is important that when you are doing your program, after you have finished, if you have like maybe 5 or 6 main tasks, you need to collapse all of them and check whether this hierarchy is what you really want. For instance, I can say I want to have, just a minute, to have another subtask. I can call it pre-construction work. All right. So now I want to populate activities under it. Just right click, all right, and click insert task. Right click insert task. I can say pre-construction work, drawings, and okay, you can say preparation of drawings. Okay, approvers, government approvals. Okay. While approval is going on, what do? I can begin to select my contractors. All right. So what else can I do while approval is going on? I can begin to give them LPO. All right. LPO creation. All right. What else do? I can advance, and by now my approval is almost ready. Then I can mobilize to site. For instance, I can mobilize to site. Assume approval is ready. So some of these activities can be going on. All right. Now, what happens to all this hierarchy? Now, pre-construction work is a major. What have I done? Just a minute. Pre-construction work is a major activity. So let me just bring this so that you can see. So all these activities are under pre-construction work. I need to select them. I need to select them. You use your mouse, you hold it down, you select all these activities. I will indent them to the right. So you can see now that all these my activities, pre-construction is very important. They are the same level with substructure and they are the same level with superstructure. If I collapse the three of them, you will see they are on the same level. You will see. So it's important to always ensure that we check this, because this has a way of affecting the weight that will be attached when your program is calculating your percentage complete. And you can see your bungalow is out. So it shows that pre-construction, substructure, superstructure are all under bungalow. So now you can say that, okay, superstructure is very, very important. Okay, and I want to give it another hierarchy. All right, you can say no, I don't want. Let me just that this hierarchy that I want is not what I want. So you can do that, or you can say, oh, this bungalow, this activity is not what I want. Just a minute. Okay, the project you cannot do that. Okay. So what I did here was to say pre-construction. I indent it to the left. You can see that it's even negated this project, which is not supposed to be. All right. So you use this to move to the right to create the next hierarchy. Then when you want to move back, I can say, for instance, advance payment is something that is also very key. Just a minute. Okay, I can say advance payment is something that is very important. I created another hierarchy for it. Okay, I said no, that was a mistake. It's not possible that they will be all together. I will take it out again. So, but you should know that when you have an activity hub, you can see that this one has scattered everything we have under it. So that is wrong. I will go back. All the activities under this, if you do not determine how you want this to be done from the beginning, the whole thing can scatter. You need to have an idea of what activity you want to have under each main task. So the simplest way is to always make sure list this main task, list all these activities under it. Then you just go one step and create it. All right. So that is indent. That is what indent is all about, and it is important we know how this is done so that we do not do what is wrong or make mistakes. You can see all these are now on the same level, which is how it's supposed to be. Alright, so that is what indent is all about. It's one of the things that a lot of students do not get. Alright, now the next thing I want to talk about is how to update. How to update. What I have seen is that when you go to site, you see program of work, of course, being made at the beginning of a project, which is supposed to be saved and is supposed to be saved as a baseline. But what happens after that? There is need to follow up on the progress being made, and that progress has to be updated as the work is being done. If you do not update the project as the work is being done, you will not be able to get real-time information about what is really happening in your project, in terms of, are you meeting up with the scope, with the cost, with the duration and stuff like that. Okay, before I go to updating, I want to quickly link these activities. Let me just link them. So to link activities, all you just do is select them. There are so many ways you can do through resource predecessor, but the first way is to come here, select these activities and click link. It links them together. All right, so I'm assuming that these activities will be done one after the other. That is what they call finish to start relationship. That's the assumption. What does that mean? It means this activity will finish before this one starts. So let's assume that all these activities are independent. All right, it's just an assumption, because I have said earlier that when my approvals is going on, let's assume approval will take 15 days. All right, I can select my contractor 2 days, LPO creation 2 days, advance within a day I can pay. All right, preparation of drawing can take a lot of time. So let's assume now that when my approval is going on, I want to be selecting my contractor, and I want to create my LPO. Let's say I use 5 days to do that. 5 days. Right? So what do I do to these 15 days? I don't want to wait. What do I do? I will now need to lag these activities. I will lag them. Let's say I lag it by 10 days. All right? You can see now that by the time my approval is ready, then I can do what? I can pay advance. That is when I can start. So I've gained time here. This is what we call fast tracking, right? This is what we call fast tracking, when you are able to do some activities before one is completed. You are able to do some activities simultaneously. So immediately I get government approval, I've saved time, I've selected my contractor, I've created all my LPOs, and I just pay them back. Then we move to site. Mobilization straight. You can just say mobilization. Alright, to site. Alright. So that is that. Now you can see that after mobilization to site, that is when clearing can start. But if you look at what we have done, everything is still starting on this day. All I just need to do I will select this last activity, mobilization to site. I will hold down my control, and I will now click my clearing. Let me come again. Mobilization to site. I want to link these two activities because if you look at our shape, it's still starting at this side. Okay, so I will click mobilization to site. I will press down my control. I will click clearing. When I do that, I just come to link the selected task. When I do that, they are supposed to just a minute. Okay, there's another activity. Okay, so this activity was not, let me undo. We have not, if you look at this is still at the edge. We have not linked them, so this is not supposed to be here. So I go back. All right, so this mobilization to site, I want to link it with advanced. I come here, I click link, so it has gone to that side. So it's meant to be here. So what do? I click this, I press control, I click clearing, then I link them. So it brings all these activities also here together. All right, so I've said that the importance of always linking your activity is the fact that during an execution, when you need to make a change, maybe your actual duration has changed, you need to increase this or do that, it will automatically adjust every activity based on their relationship. But if you do not link them together, you are going to do the hell of a work. We have projects that you have over 1,000 activities. So imagine changing one and you need to change 999. So all your activities in my program, they are always linked. So if I need to make change in just one, automatically everything adjusts itself. So the next thing I want to do, for instance, now is I want to link the last activity here with this first activity. All right, so I click this, I press down my control, I click another block work, I click link. All right, and everything is linked. If you go up, you will see your total duration is already calculated for you. The start date and the finish date. This finish date is the same thing as this last finish date here. Everything is calculated. So if I want to make change, it's very easy for me to make a change. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is how to make Saturday and Sunday I'm going over, we are doing review now for all the things that we flagged as a point of emphasis so that we will always remember. All right, when you want to make some days like Saturday working day, all you do is what? You right click, you come to this shape here, these dates, you right click, you say change. When you right click, pick change working time. When you do that, you select any of the Saturdays, anyone. When you do that, you come to work week, you will double click this default. It brings Saturday out. You will now say, you pick Saturday, you pick set days to this specific working time. You can say 8 a.m. You click this from cell, on the cell under from 8 a.m. Ensure the format for the timing is in this one. If you don't pick this format, it will not accept it. Double column 00, you add PM. You can say 1 for instance, full column PM, let's say for instance 5, full column PM. Alright, you click OK. When you click that, you can see all the Saturdays has changed. And I also mentioned that if you have specific holidays, all right, you will come to exceptions. You click exceptions. You will now click start. You will not put anything here. If you put anything here, it will not answer you. If you type anything here, you can see it's not answering. But you come to start. Pick dates here. 25th of December, which is a Sunday, any which way. Okay, let's say 26. Let's assume the whole of that time to 1st to even 2nd is public holiday. We will now say public holiday. Alright, when you click OK, it's already highlighted all these days. What this means is that when you are scheduling, no activity will be scheduled on all these days. So basically, that is how to make some of these days, whether you want to work there or you don't want to work there. All right. So the next thing we want to look at is the work type. So under work type, when you double click a task, an activity, this task information comes out. All right, we have the predecessor, you have the resources, you have the advanced, and under this advanced we have 3 types of work. Like I said, fixed duration, fixed unit, and fixed work. This usually confuses a lot of people. If you are not going into the cost element, you do not need to bother yourself about this. But basically, what this tells us is that for fixed duration activities, if I change the unit, the work will change. But for fixed units, if I change the work, the duration, the work will change. For fixed work, if I change the work, the duration, the unit changes. That is what that is all about. That is what I used to track if you want your program not to change, your cost not to change when you have a duration. You just make sure this is fixed work. All right, make sure this is fixed work. When you do that, this will not change. All right, so talking about adding resources, when you want to add resources, you go to your resource sheet. This is where you have your resource, your engineer, for instance, engineer Suleiman. All right, and what type of resource is this? Like I said, we have 3 types: work, material, and cost, which I've explained. The initials, he has taken this E, the group in your project, maybe project team, or as the case may be. What this 100% means is that this particular engineer will be available. It has 100% availability for that task that you want to choose. He is going to dedicate his total time on a particular activity that you want him to do. In a station whereby engineer has to move from one place to another, you can decide to actually increase or decrease this availability, as the case may be. If you decrease this availability, for instance, to 50%, it means the cost accrued will also go down to 50%. So this is the standard rate for the engineer. You can change your currency from options, if it's naira that you want to have there, or which particular dollar. And if you are paying your engineer per day, also you can do that. And if you happen to pay over time, you can adjust the timing here. So what it now means is when you deploy, for instance, let's say engineer is being paid $40 per hour, all right, and you happen to pay him also, let's say another $5 per hour. When you deploy engineer on an activity, what will just happen is that let's see, resource engineer. Okay, let's look at the costs. So what it means is when you deploy engineer for 12 days, you can see that you have entered a serious issue. If you are paying engineer for 40 hours, $40 per hour, and you deploy him for 12 days, that calculated for you, and you have even said that engineer will work for on Saturdays. He has calculated 40 times 8 hours times 6 days in a week. He has times 12 days. That's why you have this. So that's why you have an engineer on site, and he's just spending time and days. And in climes, in environments where you pay per hour, they don't joke with these things. You have to be on top of your cost to ensure that you are not spending unnecessarily. All right, because at the end of the day, this will ultimately eat your bottom line. So, and that is how to add resource. You can add resource on that. All right. Then another thing I want to talk about is linking activities. I think I have explained that. Linking activities. We have 4 types of relationship. 4 types of relationship. To get the 4 types, this arrow that is linking this activity with this one, you can double click it. It brings out task dependency. So we have 4 types: finish to finish, start to start, start to finish, and finish to start. What we have done here by default is finish to start. You finish an activity before you start another one. If you want to also delete this relationship, you can click delete here. That relationship will be deleted. All right. If you don't want to do that, you can select 2 activities, for instance. Then you can click on link. It has gone. All right. So that is how to do that. Then I've also talked about manual and automatic scheduling. This is very important that we know how to get this done. So you can format your screen as you want to suit your purpose. All right, you can do a lot of formatting here. You can format grid line, you can format your text, your layout. All right, you can format, you can insert column setting, you can change the color of your bar, of your style. If you want to see critical activities, you can change the shape of these ones. You can pick any one you want there. All right, your Slack, your late task, you can identify them as you want. So there's so much you can do. If you want to see your outline number, the outline number comes here. If you want to see your project summary, you see your project summary also. You can insert drawings. Okay, you want to show something, you can insert drawings on your timeline. All right, so many things that can be done. You can write your text box. What is your name? You want to write comment here or anything about a particular project, you can do that. So a lot of things that can be done. All right, even when you are doing your report. All right, when you are doing your report, you can put your name, you can change the color, you can put your name there, you can change the whole background, you can edit, even all this. You can from here go to Excel and manipulate your graph. All right, you can write your name, you can do a lot of things just to make your report presentable. All right, then the last thing I want to talk about is the issue of printing, which a lot of us always have issue about. To print, you go to print, you go to your file, you go to print, and then you can see, right, they just gave me three pages, which is not good enough. the first thing I do is I just go to page setup. I say fit to one page. It brings the thing out for me. Is when I do not like what I see, and I'll begin to come here to manipulate. I want to see it till April. All right, you can see it has done that for me. I do not like, if you have a lot of activities here, it will split to second page. But always ensure that your task, if it's eventually going to the second page, ensure that this particular, on a page, this particular task has a corresponding shape to it. I don't want to see, or it's not presentable to have a program if it's going to second page where this is on a different page and your shape is on a different page. You should be able to relate your task with the shape, and you should be able to see the date, all right, on a singular page when you have a lot of activities to be done. All right, so I've taken time to go through some of the things that I know gives participants and users of Microsoft projects and issues, and I've tried to explain how it can be done. All right, so I'm stopping this screen, and it is now time for us to ask our questions. Oh, I did not record. So if you have questions,
recording in progress.
It's time for us to ask our question before we go to the next thing to be done today. So if you have a question, you just need to raise your hand, then I'm going to call you from here. But all the people that ask questions, please, let's raise our hand, and then I know the number of people, then I will begin to call them one by one. Okay, so just a minute. Let me see how many people have questions. Okay, Mr. Olubabs.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm grateful for allowing me to speak.
Right.
Sincerely want to appreciate you for your time, for really explaining this to us. Personally, I'm grateful to you. I know the value of what you are giving to us is not proportional to the amount of money paid. We are most grateful, sir. Sir, the assignment, the revised assignment, I'm wondering if we can get the YouTube version. Because I noticed when you were explaining, you were a little bit fast. So sometimes when we are doing it on our own, there's no facilitator to actually assist us. So I'm wondering if we can have the YouTube so that anytime we have any challenge, instead of disturbing you all over again on minor issue, we can just go over it again and review it. And secondly, sir, the first assignment, you said our printout should be in 2 pages. Also, the second assignment. Actually, when I printed out my work, I noticed the lettering are so tiny. I wasn't comfortable with it. So I'm wondering if I can just, since it's my own design and I want it to be visible to all, I'm wondering if I can make it, say, 4 pages say 5 pages. Is it a benchmark for it to be 2 pages? If it's a benchmark, I'm wondering, it means there will be a lot of compressing. If I compress too much, the activity, I may not really put in so many activity then. So those are just my few questions. Thank you so much for allowing me. I'm grateful.
Okay, let me quickly respond. Number one, all our teaching, everything, I've made sure I put it on YouTube, so it's not a problem. You're going to have access to that. Everything, if not today, maximum latest tomorrow, you will have everything. All right. There are a lot of videos also on my YouTube channel that you can take time to go through. A lot of them. See, if you have subscribed to my channel and you click the notification, even when new videos when new videos come, you will have access to it. So for us that are on this training, let's make judicious use of that golden opportunity. At times I had to take down some of those videos, but for now they will still be there. Now, concerning this issue of printing, I will want to say that to ensure that your lettering is visible, there are a lot of things that have to be taken into consideration. The first thing is the paper that you selected, is it in A4 or in A3? My principle is when the numbers are going, when the number of activities, you understand, are increasing. For instance, if the number of activities are increasing, I have program of work that are 40 pages, 40 lines, 50 lines. If you still put it on A3, you will still, on one page, it will still be okay. But if you have like 100 activities, you understand, there's no way you can put it on A3 that it will be okay. It will have to go through the next page. But the principle is make sure you maximize the page. Let it, if it's one page, it has to fill the one page. If it's 2 pages, do it in such a way that it has to fill the 2 pages. You can always also adjust the size of your. Let me try and explain something here. Just a minute. So you can when you see that you can change this, you can increase this to make sure that your description, your activities, the task are occupying a very good page, a very good portion. Or you can see this thing is small, this is big. Okay, I say that this one is supposed to end in. Okay, so you can make sure, for instance, now this one is not even getting down, so this one, there's no reason to go to any page or everything. It's still visible. So the principle is one, make sure if it's even 2 pages, this and this are on the same line, and make judicious use of your page. This is still in A3, I mean A4. If I change it to A3, you can see it becomes, you understand, it takes care of the whole page. So the principle is just make sure that this is visible. If it needs to get to 2 pages, but getting to 3 pages and 4 pages, if your activity is less than 100, it does not make any sense. It's less than 100, you can still do. If your activity is like 80 activities, 2 pages will still take it. Between 80 and 100, 2 pages will still take it. I have one I'm looking at in my office now. It's about 40 and it's just 1 page. You understand? So 3 pages and 4 pages, how many do you want to print everything? You know, when you go to 3 pages and 4 pages, you will discover that this thing and this one, they will not be on the same line, on the same page. You can't have your activity here and your bar on another page, it's going to look somehow. So I don't encourage people to do that, especially when you save PDF and you send it to somebody and it's like 3-4 pages. It's not presentable.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I've discovered my mistake. I printed on A4.
Okay.
I think that was why.
If you do A3, it brings the thing together more.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Next question. So next question. In the absence of, is there any question, please? I want comments on our assignments and on, the reviews and your score. If you are objecting the facilitator that why did you score me low and all those stuffs, this is your time.